So welcome everybody. I go by the name of Muteado Silencio. Welcome to Sala Comunitaria, the community newsroom. And again, we are right in the middle of the digital divide. As we learn these new technologies, these new live stream, this new YouTube. Again, to share the media that we do as poor people, as people in struggle. I just want to welcome people at YouTube, POBRE Magazine, Community Newsroom, Sala Comunitaria. A little bit about what POBRE is, for those who don't know. What you see in it right now, POBRE Magazine is a poor people-led, indigenous people-led media arts organization. They started by a single mother and daughter duo, living here in the streets of in the streets of the Bay Area. And I also want to share, that one of the things that and be part of POBRE Magazine and the revolution and the dreams they had is that it was led by people who themselves been in struggle. There's a lot of organizations, a lot of people out there, well-hearted people. They want to help our people. They see this inequality, right? Like we don't know any better. Like just because we come from struggle, from alcoholism, from drug abuse, from different struggles that even myself face, that sometimes we don't know no better. And so the beautiful thing about here at POBRE Magazine is that all of us in here, one way or the other, have been, dealt with some kind of form of struggle. So this is the Sala Comunitaria. We do media. Also proud to say that we collaborate with one of the baddest newspaper, the Bayview, right here in the Hunters Point, the only African American led newspaper right here in California. And again, we do media because we see how media is being used against us, against poor people, against people of color, against low-income communities. And again, they used to talk down about us, right? And you hardly see our own people speaking, taking the mic, speaking their own truth. And I think I'm going to pass it down. I'm going to stop blabbing so much. I'm going to pass it down to my brother Leroy Moore.
Hello, so homefulness, what is homefulness? It's just like move in Chile and South Brothers in South Africa. Homefulness is a poor people's solution to homelessness. So we don't need grants, we don't need to check out the box. So right here in POBRE Magazine, we're building homes for families. And it's coming from our pocket. And in you, the donors. So donate to poor, donate to homefulness, and let's start our own homes from our own pocket.
And so right now, we're going to pass it down to my sister Tiny, Lisa Gray-Garcia, La Tiny.
Oh my God.
Brother D, Boy.
First of all, shout out to our brothers and sisters in stolen Borica and Taino lands that they call Puerto Rico. Shout out to folks who have suffered in Mexico, the DF. Shout out to Alejandra de Ruiz Rodriguez, for all the folks who are out there who aren't in this particular circle. This is Community Newsroom, Poor People's Media. We are the editorial board, if you will. So even if it's your first time here, you're going to be part of the decision making, and we do get really crowded, so come and squeeze in, and for those of you who can practice eldership and sit on the floor like myself, please do. But anyway, all that to say, we're talked about, not talked with, as poor people, as incarcerated folks, as folks who don't necessarily live with the access to a roof. We're talked about, we're taken pictures of, we're researched and studied. And part of the whole point of us creating our own media voice is to stop that fetishization and that othering. And so this is us taking back the channel of access. And like all revolutionary movements, it's really important that we tell and write our own stories. One of the reasons that they were able to, destroy Move Africa, Long Live John Africa, is because corporate media continued a campaign of hate and lies. And so then when there was seated dissent in the neighborhoods, even the activists didn't show up. A lot of people love to talk about Move Africa like it's real cute. They're being destroyed in their own neighborhood by other people of color. Let's be real talk. It's important for us as poor people, as incarcerated and criminalized folks, as folks on the margins, to actually be writing and telling our own stories. So this is the editorial board. Even if it's your first time, you will be deciding what the media is that goes out on our multiple channels. We do a project called, our revolutionary youth, called Decolon News. All nations, all generations. This month's was Po Food kills more poor people than guns. It also has some powerful work on Yemen. So just putting that out there. As well, like my brother said about the Bayview newspaper, shout out to the Bayview, that is going on, and that's where actually our story on penal abolition got in this month, because we collaborate with them. And shout out to Jose Villarreal. This was Aslan Press, Poor Press's sister press, and we're going to talk about this later because Jose is reaching out to us to do a review of this powerful book. So shout out to him and to all the work. And we'll talk more about it, but this is for Raza, who are behind the razor wire plantations, and who, again, like our notes from the inside, make a point of making sure their voices are not lied about and their stories are told by them, and for everybody else. So we start with a thing we call bio news, which is that editorial board who's here all introduces themselves. One line about your struggle, your privilege, or your resistance. One line, because media is inside of immediacy, and we do need to make it fast. That's 60 seconds, so we can keep it moving. After that, then we're going to get into special guests. There's new folks who came in the room. We're going to talk a little bit about the work they do, about the media that they need for an upcoming event. This is actual service provision media, revolutionary service provision. So we do media to survive. For landlords and scamlords who are out there throwing out our people, we race to the punch. For those of us who are dealing with police brutality, we make a point of showing up. This is that moment, this is that place to make that shout out, to make that call. So I'm gonna, first of all, pass it to my brother D to do the first slam bio, the first news intro, the bio news.
I'm D. Allen. I am the son of a black mother and an Italian father. I am also been a Poor magazine member since 2006. Been here at Homefulness since 2015. And I resist hate with my pen and my computer.
Woo! Ashe to that.
You want to hold the mic?
And we have healthy food that people are consuming currently, which is crucial with poor people movements, that we be feeding each other and helping each other survive and thrive. And you can move it on and come back if he's not ready.
Hi, I'm Bilal Ali. I will be hosting Message to the Grassroots on KEXU 96.1, Revolutionary People's Radio and TV, created by and brought to you by Revolutionary Poor People.
All power.
Muteado silencio presente y me alegro. Mis palabras son mis balas, mi lápiz es mi arma. Muteado silencio. My words are my bullets. My pen is my gun. So sit back and relax, cause we gonna drive by your minds. I'm Muteado, a poet, a migrant from Michoacán, Mexico. I'm also one of the folks who are gonna be helping with the radio KEXU 96.1 FM. Just happy to be here. What struggles, I think, as folks of color, low-income folks, we have many struggles, but I want to speak about, always about the resilience of our people, that over 400 or 500 years, we're still alive and kicking, against all this racism that happens here in America. And just, I just want to speak about that, about the power of resilience of our ancestors who carry ourselves in their shoulders. And I always want to say that maybe we're not rich in capita, in money, in dinero, in dólares, but we're rich in spirit, we're rich in cultura, and we're rich of, knowing where we come from, and where we're going.
Ha ha ha, I'm the black cripple. Look at me, hear this. Yeah, this is Leroy Moore, the black cripple. I've been with Poor Magazine since God knows when. Started the first online column on race and disability and police brutality back in the early 90s.
Ellen and Children.
I do Ellen and Chilling. I also do what's called Crip Hop. That's hip hop by artists with disabilities around the world. You got kick-ass chapters all around Africa, UK, Brazil, and the US. And yeah, I'm here to kick ass.
Always. Aldo. Go ahead, bro. Aldo.
No, he's not on the camera.
Oh.
So, I am Mama Tracy, also known as Sekhmet. I am a teacher here. What I do is I work on economics. Working this year with Brother Jason, who's a teacher this year, who's not here, but he's an amazing teacher. And like today, his lesson dealing with economics and working with business with the children. That's what I've been working with as far as art therapy. So I'm a comadre, been with Poor Magazine since 2001. Or no, I'm sorry, 2011. 2011, when, or 2011, 2012, when Kenneth Harding Jr. had been executed. So we took everything that we had to do and just made it into like fundamental programs for our children. My daughter, I have to just humbly say thank you to everybody here that actually worked with my daughter, because my daughter is now a lead instructor with Girls Inc. out of Oakland. So she's working on Birch Street, 82nd and Birch. And this is a child, thank you. This is a child that, if it wasn't for Poor Magazine, you know, just putting the money together, just even work for the lawyer fees. Because my lawyer fees were $8,000. So to liberate an African child, or even a melanated child, I don't want to say African child, but just a indigenous child, in this country is about $40,000, $50,000, and just in order to liberate at least one. So I only had one. So I just always want to give thanks and praise to this school that I gave everything to, and I give everything to, and just giving thanks. So gives back, gives back, gives back, gives back. Thank you.
My name's Suki, and I guess I'm here to represent the non-model minorities. And I was imported from colonized country, and I'm kind of fighting against the continued orientalization of us. And yeah, and since you gave a shout out to your daughter, I'll do mine too. My daughter works for Access Reproductive Justice, and always assisting women in getting the health care they need, because there's many barriers, especially for people of color and especially poor people.
Peace and greetings, family. My name is Artistic, lead artist of the Kiss My Black Arts Collective. New to the Poe family here, but am just taking in the collective welcome that I'm already receiving just from being here for this short amount of time, and I've already met a lot of great faces, and looking forward to what is to come from doing collaborative projects. My background is I'm a social justice muralist. I believe that art is our weapon, art is our voice, and that is something I definitely want to teach our youth, that we can fight this system and fight this fascism with lines, shapes, and colors.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, wait. Can I just also please, I'm sorry to intersect.
Take the mic.
I'm sorry to just really even just jump into it, but this is actually going to be our teacher every Thursday. So this is so can you speak a little bit more, Because I'm so
We're just introducing right now.
okay. So later on, yes.
Definitely talking
Yes. Okay.
more
Yes.
From
Thank
this
you.
fabulous cat here.
Yes.
I am a poverty scholar, criminalized, racialized, and always in struggle for $1. I'm all the people you don't want to see, never want to be. Look away from me. What you gonna do? Arrest me? I'm in your city. Yeah, I'm a poverty scholar, and I rock my jailhouse attire because me and my po mama did jail time just trying to stay alive and housed in this holler. I'm a poverty scholar, the melanin challenged daughter of a strong, affable, equal mama for without whom there would be no me. A mama soltera and a welfare queen. I want to say what's up to my mama. I cry for her every day. As an unwanted mixed race child in America KKK, she got with my white dad because whiteness was taught to her as rightness. And almost killed by him, among other things. So yeah, we ended up on the street for all my childhood after 11 years old. Had to drop out of formal education to enroll full-time in a school of hard knocks, which I'm proud to say I graduated with a PhD in poverty.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like a paper from the man's school. We always get applause, and I'm always like, you know, I just think how we're perpetrating that same lie, that's the only kind of knowledge that deserves respect. And I want to point out that one of the things that I felt that we looked up the beautifulness of, because Tracy, being an indigenous woman who didn't necessarily go along with the man's cool notion of success with her raising of her beautiful child, lifting that up, because a lot of us folks who didn't go through those systems feel like they want us to feel, right? So lifting up lived knowledge is an act of resistance.
Yes.
Just because we don't got that paper from that eugenicist institution, it doesn't mean that our knowledge isn't worth a lot, isn't worth power, and isn't worth resistance. So I just want to give that all power to the people.
All power to the people.
All power to the people.
Power
And
to
thank
the
you, Mama D, for giving me life.
Yes,
Without
Mama
whom there'd
D.
be no me.
Mama D.
Hello, my name is Maria Moore, and I'm here representing the Justice for Kayla Moore Coalition.
Yeah!
Thank you. I'm glad to be back. This is my second time here, and each time I feel welcome, and it's just a wonderful space to be in, and it's a space I feel comfortable discussing Kayla's story. So after 4 years, we're going to court, and I'd like to just talk about that.
Wow.
Thank you, because we will be victorious.
Ashe. Woo!
She just brought up last week. So I'm like, oof.
Right?
How's it going, everyone? My name is Brain Damage, and I'm here representing the Sports of Resistance. And I've been a youth worker for 20 years now, working with youth in the community, and that's it.
Before I say anything about who I am, I want to just acknowledge my ancestors, because without them I wouldn't be here, and without their struggle we wouldn't be here. And to have survived, and that we were able to be here and share these words, I feel that it was meant to be for us to come together at this time. As they call us people of color, but in reality we're people of spirit, of energy, and compassion and love. But they managed to strip all that away from us, and for me, I come today to reclaim all that, and also to remind us that we are not poor, we're rich in a deep culture that goes back thousands and thousands of years. If you compare it to them, they're just like infants in diapers compared to our cultures. So I come with a heart of compassion and love for humanity, but also for my brothers and sisters of all nations and all colors. Because with that idea, we can break down any wall, any barrier, even between ourselves at times, because sometimes that's what holds us back or stops us from working together. Because sometimes we don't see that it's the same struggle. And in reality, we are here but a short time, and we have to understand that whatever our task is, to take care of it, move it forward, and also that we can really say that we are free from everything that holds us back and that damages our minds, our body, spirit, and keeps us down because we can't liberate ourselves from that mentality. So I come to share that, and also talk about some of my brothers that have passed earlier in this year, what we call 2017, in the Native community, Native American community, but my people come from Mexico, came here as a transplant from Mexico, Jalisco, Mexico, in 1961, San Francisco Bay Area, and for now, that's all I'll say. My name is Antonio Zabalza Chavez. My people are from Jalisco, and we're people of the medicine, of the peyote, and the medicine ways. And with that, I'll say thank you for allowing me to share a little bit of these words, but also for allowing me to bring in my ancestors into the space with you guys, with the circle. And that, you know, all we are is love and energy. And that's all we should be. I hope.
Yes.
How are my relations?
Ashe yo.
Bienvenidos a Prensa POBRE.
Okay, so we are going to, we have about less than an hour to try to get all these powerful voices in the room. So just so people know the protocol, and the folks who are listening or watching know that you can chime into and chat and send in questions. That this is also the precursor to KEXU, that's KSU, the crossroads. Yes, I did say Eshu, Elewashu, 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 which is our upcoming radio station, 96.1 FM, and also on your YouTube dial as a TV show. So that to say, we have a few different special guests today. I know we have the amazing Maria, and representing the powerful Kayla Moore, Ivaye. We also want to definitely hear from Artistic, and for you, brother, and other folks who have, do any other people in the room have specific fresh news or things they want to speak on? Leroy and Bilal? Okay. And then I've already got you, Antonio, yeah. Okay, so why don't we, what the way it works, and just so folks understand, again, you are the editorial board. You're like, well, I just came for the first time. Well, no, you will be voting on the media, because the people get to decide what happens with the Prensa Pobre media. So it's not, there's no wizard behind a curtain. It ain't somebody else who figures it out. It's all of us together who figure it out. So person speaks. We open it up to questions, probably 2 to 3 questions, and then we decide, is it a poor magazine story? You ask, what is a poor magazine story? A story regarding issues of poverty, racism, disability, ableism, police brutality, resistance, or art, and indigenismo, and culture, and all the ways in which, as beautiful brother had pointed out, we are rich in spirit, and we need to lift that up as well. And that's one of the reasons we do what we do. So, first let's have Maria speak first, and also again, just honor and bring in and lift up the spirit of Kayla, who is always with us, who was a friend of Lori before many years when they were teenagers, Lori being one of our family elders of Poor Magazine. So she's family. She's what we would call one of our ancestor board members. So. Hi, Kayla. How you doing? I know you're in the room, and hey, let's give it up to Maria.
Hey, girl.
Thank you. Kayla's giving blessings right now. She's blessing all of you. Yeah, so, you know, here we are again, and still no justice. It's been a long 4 years, but I feel like it's gone by so fast. And Leroy, you've been there the whole time as well. But, you know, I always consider Kayla the poster girl for intersectionality. She was black, she was transgender, and she was mentally disabled. And what we're trying to do with this court case is to change policy, to create new policy, and to hold Berkeley accountable for killing her, because that's exactly what they did. And it wasn't just the police who did it, it was the city itself for not having the resources available to have mental health professionals instead of killer cops, because Kayla should be alive today. if those cops had not shown up, she would have been alive. So right now we're going to court on the American Disabilities with Act claim, ADA claim, and you know it's an important claim, at least accountable, and it changed the way they interact with people who are disabled and who are in crisis. So they can't view you with arrest. They need to provide you with the services, which at the time Berkeley had none. They didn't have price. They didn't have instead they had cops who just wanted to get rid of her. This is what we're dealing with, and it's going to be a really tough process, but so important, and just the ripple effect that we'll have for anyone who is suffering and needs help. It's just going to be very huge across the board. So, you know, answering questions, but I figured to start that eliminate them from the process because they don't care about your issue. They're bullshit, and they killed her. So, you know, this is the struggle we have to do. That is happening across, and it's people who are poor, who feel have no rights, who are, you know, just like Kayla, living off her SSI check each month, doing what she can to survive and just living her life. But unfortunately, that wasn't enough. As much as you love your loved one and you think you can protect them, you can't. So I'm hoping that with this we can change that.
All right. Okay, so also just to let folks know, you're listening to KEXU 96.1 FM and Poor News Network on YouTube. Shout out to Keith and Lily and Laura and Araceli, folks who are watching and listening. Also ask you to please subscribe to Poor News Network on YouTube so we can maybe get some of those bloodstained crumbs. There's a live stream going there as well. So let's see, open it up to questions if anybody has it from Maria. Does anybody have questions? I know I do. Here we go.
Oh.
And just introduce yourself first, hon.
Greetings, my name is Sekhmet Tracy Bell Borton. I am a teacher here at Decolonize Academy, and is when it came down, like you're saying that it's something that's like unresolved. Like when it comes to the case of Kayla, what's unresolved? Because I think that we have like a whole army of children that can actually look at some things, or just even people like myself that can look into some things. What's unresolved for me, and I'm putting it out here because now I'm on KEXU and I'm also on YouTube, just saying when it comes down to what was the benefit for not solving this crime. You have a case where did the family have anything to do with the organs being donated, or like there's certain questions to why this didn't get handled. I've been dealing with this for a long time, so I just kind of throwing that out there. Maybe do you think that might be a factor to why things didn't get taken care of? I mean, like what didn't happen so that maybe some of our young people or even some of us elders can actually like really push into it. What happened that didn't happen, and then how can we happen to make something happen? Or just even just, you know, ask some questions.
No, that's a very deep and layered question. You know, you bring up a good point, and I didn't really think about it, but in terms of her body and an autopsy, we didn't know what happened to her for months. And how the system is set up is that, you know, the autopsy was conducted within literally 24 hours after she died. the nervous system, all these other factors. But you know, we wanted to, you know, preserve the body, but that's like $100 a day. You know, you just can't do that. That's how it's set up. So we had her cremated. So unfortunately, we are just left with the autopsy that the coroner did with the officer literally in the room with the coroner. So how much can we trust in that? You can't. So, and then we were left with the only option we could, because it wasn't a death that was the result of a shooting. So we were left with the inept Police Review Commission, which was such a hoax. It's such a scam, because they're not there to defend the people, they're there to defend the cops. It's not impartial. They did everything they could to make sure that get their hearing. They have a year to claim to be resolved. They so the result. So charges until the 13th month. So even with that ridiculous circus show, there was still no justice. So we were left with the only done. Families have to wait 3 months. Was ours. So in front of us, and they wonder why families get so frustrated, because they so many unanswered questions. Even now I'm finding out things 4 years after the fact that they knew that had their pocket. That was like their, you know what, we're done with her today card. She's going to jail. We're going to you take that warrant and use that as an excuse to take it to jail. Absolutely fine. I think now.
Wow.
I'm sorry for
because it's a lot that you just gave to me that I had no idea even took place and even is. And I'm in the situation. I just came out of a sentence for my own child, and so I give praise to anyone that, you know, situation. So I just really give thanks and praise. And just, you know, I'm trying to figure out how do I get my students to figure out how to do that, you know. So in any way possible we can do it, you know, we can do it. Like it's, we gotta contain whole face can be on here, you know.
I do want to say for folks who don't already know this, that, and this is a really important part of just people understanding the depth of how we're trying to walk a change here at Homefulness. As a poor people-led, indigenous people-led movement, we have been dedicated to never calling the police for our 21 years. We don't engage with the people who test, arrest, and incarcerate us. That's an extremely hard thing to do. That's not some hippie bullshit. As poor people, we hurt each other. We do. We come intoxicated to meetings. We act aggressive to each other. We act inappropriately. There are a lot of times that we have been tested in that dedication. But we refuse, because what those 3 numbers mean is a death sentence for us. So I want to put out there, because this is always also a teaching moment at Newzroom and everything we do, is that don't equate those 3 numbers with safety. That's safety, right? That 911 call is crafted, right? It's crafted by the institution who stole this land originally, who's destroyed people's spirit, and who continues to incarcerate more people of color, specifically black people, than anywhere else in the world. So let's be real about the people who crafted those 911 as a safety call. The sad part is a lot of us poor people make that call, right? So let's get real about that. And you might say, well, what do I do? Well, the first thing we got to do is decolonize our minds from the idea that that's a call for safety. It's not. So I know there might be another. We got time for 2 more comments or questions. Any other want to talk on this, speak on this? Leroy's got something to say. Please pass the mic to him.
I just want to say that this case is very important. This case might be the first case of this kind to go down with the ADA. I know in the 90s, the late 90s, Mermaid Cake from Caduceus, Misha for magazine was trying to do this exactly thing, to use the ADA to get to the police. So this case is very, it could be a landmark case, so it's really important.
Thanks for pointing that out.
Yes, I think, well, many aspects, this case is important, and I think it's a teaching moment. This case can represent a teaching moment for our communities, and especially in the movements for social justice, because oftentimes we see in those movements and in some of those organizations that some people are still marginalized, right? We don't talk about disabled and police brutality. We don't link that with the overall when we're out there marching and protesting against police terrorism. That element, that segment is totally left out of there. And in many organizations, disabled people and others who are marginalized in a larger society, we end up replicating that backwardsness and marginalizing those people in our organizations, our organized movement. So, if anything, I would like this to be a tremendous teaching moment that we can educate the people in the community, we can educate those people in the social justice movement and organizations that we cannot say we're about social justice and equality and we're still marginalizing people within our own ranks.
Suki had a comment.
I was just wondering how you're going to heal from this, because, I mean, in reality, justice is hard to come by. And I was wondering, like, I'm all down with never calling the police, but when you have someone in crisis, how would you build community and how would you deal with crisis? Because it's going to happen again. It's going to happen all the time. And, like, what are your thoughts about something progressive to take care of that?
I mean, that's a great question, and it's something that we've been thinking about for the past 4 years. How do you not make that call to 911? Because it's just instinctual for some people, but you know, it's more about, like you said, kind of involving the community. You know, if even, you know, noticing that neighbor who may be arguing and yelling outside, don't let that be your first reaction. You know, just realize that every time you do call the police, there is a chance that's high probability that someone will be killed or hurt. So, you know, we have to get the community involved. You know, you can have people who, you know, just like in a situation like this, who can use their de-escalation techniques. You know, it's just really about connecting with the person, not being safe, but being concerned about their safety too. You know, there should be a hotline directly to a mental health professional. That's kind of one of the things that if we do have the option to change, we will. None of that 911 call when someone's in crisis. It should go to someone who is at least a counselor who can help you or give you some advice, even if it's over the phone, or who can come down there, you know, similar to mobile crisis. But as a community, you just have to just kind of band together and just realize that this is what we are going to stand by. We are not going to call the police unless, I don't even know unless. Just try to do your best to keep that person safe. And even if you have to take them to emergency yourself, do it. Just don't involve the police.
And I know the elder is like.
Okay, so we are over time, and I just gotta ask folks to try to keep it because I want to make sure everybody gets heard. I do want to just add an addendum though. We don't not call the police and not do anything else. We have a thing called an elephant circle that we actually practice non-pimped, non-foundation derivative, ideas for restorative justice. No, it's rooted in our ancestors, and it's a very long process. And that is the hard piece, because in capitalism we're told to not know each other, and the live separation is rampant. So that's a thing we teach on, though. Those folks who are watching this out there, that's what we teach on. And we've got one last comment. Elder right behind Antonio.
Actually, they call me elder in training.
I
told everybody I just hit the big 6-0, but I told them I'm 30 twice. Let's change the whole idea of 9/11 and create our own internal 9/11 system, because it's a failure. I mean, let's look at it for what it really is. It doesn't respond to us. It will never respond to us. And I feel one of the biggest things I want to say is, when you say justice, they really mean just us, not us. So I'm kind of pushing the idea of that in every community, going back to indigenous sort of communities, or you would call it clan. The one thing, the structure that was there for many years is like in Alaska, they have the grandmothers are in charge of all that decisions. And in the patriarchal, sort of a big part of of sharing, those responsibilities. I think we're so removed from those old practices that really held us together for a long time, and that we're really, like somebody mentioned, we really got to break that mentality that we're still using and going by their mentality, and let's say we don't need their system. Let's create our own. That's what I feel we really should be pushing for, because that's the only way we can really, if we really want justice for us, then let's create it.
Thank you. All right, so beautiful closing to this. So I think that the question is for us to show up, and we also did do a story. So I'm wondering who in the room feels like they're able to do a story in advance of the case. I'm looking right at you, Leroy.
Leroy. Story of the case.
Even though we've done multiple media, for folks don't know, we've been following, of course, and with Maria and a beautiful family in resistance since the beginning. But I think we need to do another one to lift it up. So are you able to? Or you, Dee? Are you?
So we have
raising your hand.
I'm actually raising my hand because I have a suggestion.
Okay.
But that could wait till like the later half of this meeting.
Oh, okay. Well, this is what we're going to do. We're going to have the youth scholars write about it, number one. And if you can write about it too. Leroy, you're down?
Yeah.
And when is the trial?
Thank you. The trial is, we have the pre-trial on October 18th, and the trial itself is set for November 6th. So it should last that week, and we'll find out what happens.
Okay, and so is everybody in unison to say this is a Poor Magazine story?
Yes.
And, okay. All right, so it's a Poor Magazine story. The circle has decided, and also youth scholars will do a story, and Leroy in advance of November 6th. And we're doing a shout out to everybody in this room and out of this room to court support on November 6th.
Yes.
And that's Oakland?
No, it's San Francisco. Yeah, it's a federal case, so it's in the federal courthouse. And you can find the information. I can give it to you later, but it's I forget the name, but it's the courthouse. I've been there a million times, but
right. Civic Center area.
Golden Gate.
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. So full on support, and we'll put everybody and all of our hearts behind it. Again, you're listening to KEXU. You're watching PNN-KEXU on YouTube. We ask you to subscribe to our Poor News Network on YouTube, and shout out as well to our brothers and sisters in Puerto Rico and DF, and and Las Vegas. All of the things that happened in the last few weeks have been nothing but torture for all of our folks, especially the folks holding on by edge. So the next guest, special guest, is Antonio.
Bienvenido.
Gracias. I just wanted to also just mention in the old Maya and Yucatec language, you're an elder, Maya Joe. I'm going to share some words before I speak on what I came here to share. Wayanet not ne, wayanet not ne, tampim tampim. Wayanet not ne, wayanet not ne, tampim tampim. Wayanet not ne, wayanet not ne, tampim tampim. And those words are referring to that our people have been here, and we will be here always and forever. So that's remembering elder Maya Joe, who passed on those words to us when we were running from Alaska to Mexico on peace and dignity journeys. And we go that got killed in San Francisco, and the brother had issues in his life, but because he's an indigenous person, nobody talks about him. And I realized it's up to me to talk about it, to bring his memory here in the space in this moment, because like a lot of the native communities, they're the ones that really, to be honest with you, and I don't mean to say put anybody down, but they're the ones that really get left out all the time. Since day one, when this idea of discovery, the only thing that they discovered is just that mentality that they have. They can't let go of, and unfortunately, we're at the end of all that mentality, and we pay for it. So for many years, I didn't come to like to preach or anything. I just came to share the message that in San Francisco, the death or the murders of the native community, it's never put in any type of media, and I guess that's in a way and I sort of got angry and mad, and I said, well then nobody's going to talk about it. It's on me to do it, and recognize and remember his spirit. First of all, young man from the Lakota Nation, and he called himself Catfish, but his name was Kelly Freeman, and you would run into him, and sometimes you weren't sure if he was having a good day or if he was off. Excuse me. So that's really the story that sometimes you don't know where his energy was at. And like when we talk about disability and mental health, it's just that the spirit is out of balance. It's not about being sick. As they like to tell us that we're sick, and because they say we're sick, that gives them the right to kill us in that sense. And I had to find out this the hard way myself, because I went through that whole incident with the police too, and it's not a welcoming or loving experience in any sense. So I wanted to come and share the story, but also with the message of to go back. A big part of it also it deals with a lot of diabetes that we have in our communities, and the change in the food that we eat in this country. That originally, from wherever you came from, you had your own food that you would eat all the time, and that wouldn't create all the sickness that we have today. They say we have an alarming amount of obesity in this country. Well, it's no surprise, because they do it on purpose, and also they keep the good foods out of our reach, and it's done on purpose. It's everything is set up so then that either we fight against each other for the same things, the same crumbs, as they say, instead of going for the big pie. And having a pie for each and every one of our as we call them, people of color, that we deserve that. And I came also to say it's time for us to claim all that back, because it is rightfully ours. And through the ceremonies, I think that the message that I come today is through the ceremonies of reminding us of that memory of our ancestors, and in the way that the way we're fighting and struggling, it's the way they would want us to stand up and fight, but not for something that we will never win. And I'm talking about a spiritual fight. To return to our ceremonies, to return to whatever you were doing with your ancestors, go back to that.
No.
Because that's the key for us to survive this chaos and this confusion of they have more than I do, and they suffered more than I did. It's like we're still kind of in that mentality. And also I wanted to say we have to go and back learn our traditional and original languages. English, Spanish, all those languages are not ours. Go back to our root language. What they say, root language means I can talk to you in my language. And unfortunately, right now, I'm learning my that we have to take all those layers of whatever it is that they put on us, all those coats or jackets, as you want to call them, and just start fresh, and start with the earth, my other message is, the idea of politics, and I just want to say that because this is the most important thing for me today. If we don't take care of the earth, it doesn't matter what our politics is or whatever it can become, because they want us to go to that arena too, and I choose not to go there. I've been here in this country since 1961, and I have not voted, and I don't care to vote for anybody in this country. The only one that I will vote for, who? Is for the earth. Because she doesn't lie, she got no hidden agendas, and she's for real. And I believe that that's the true medicine for all of us. Take care of her. As I want to close, again, thank you for this time. Thank you for allowing me to be here. Thank you, my brother Aldo, and to all these nations right here. We are here, but all our ancestors are here right now with us. And I just wanted to leave with a little humor. What they really meant by, when they told us call 9/11, it was really, they skipped, they dropped, if you drop two numbers, it's really, they told us to call 7/11, not 9/11. If you think about it, that's the way it is over here. Now, so remember, it's serious, but you know what? Remember, humor is your best medicine. Don't let them confuse you. All my relations.
Any comments for Antonio? I just want to say again that you're listening and watching KEXU 96.1 FM, KSU, The Crossroads, and Poor News Network. And I see you, Ray and Rebecca. If you can also subscribe to Poor News Network on YouTube, where the transmission is much better, and it helps us maybe get some of those bloodstained corporate crumbs. That said, we just got some medicine from this powerful human, and I do want to bring also up, as he brought up the ancestor who went too soon, the Lakota brother. I also want to bring in Luis Demetrio Góngora Pat, who was taken out by the San Francisco Police and whose anniversary is coming up on October 7th, 7 de octubre, over in San Francisco at 19th and Shotwell, where the altar is, and the family is going to be offering a picnic, and Poor Magazine, Prensa, POBRE is going to be there. We hope that all people listening and watching will also be there. We definitely need to show up and show out for this, for our relation, who is a Mayan Yucatec brother who speaks other language, which is partly why the police could murder him. He hasn't gotten justice, neither has his family. Almicara Perez Lopez also taken out, another Mayan brother from Huate. So again, the ways that Antonio brought up are important medicine for us to be thinking about, and for us to be going and decolonizing our minds back to. And that is what the School Decolonized Academy is about as well. Aldo is a great teacher there as well, so that's a blessing. Let's turn it over to Bilal, I guess, because it's got another news piece, yeah? Or no, wait, I'm actually going to turn it to artistic. Unless anybody has comments for Antonio, otherwise I'm going to go on to artistic. Okay, yeah, Mute, sorry.
Just quickly,
Go there.
promise, quick. No, yeah, thank you, Antonio, for reminding us. I just also see that sometimes as activists, as artists, we don't take the time to take that healing break. That we're running 24/7, and sometimes we will burn ourselves. Just the importance, to take care of ourselves too. When they say the self-care is also revolutionary. We can't go and fight for other people when we're burning ourselves, when we're exhausted ourselves spiritually. Because the sweat lodge to have different ceremonies that really help with that. And I urge everybody, because sometimes it's like, man, I'm too busy to be spiritual. But it's something that is healing. Myself, also through the culture and the sweat lodge and stuff, helped me to give up the alcohol, to give up the heavy drugs that I was in. So it's also definitely, literally a form of healing. And so just reminding ourselves to take time and do that. Thank you, Antonio, for that.
Oh man, I just want to say something real quick. Briefly, like as we come together and we do these circles with like social justice, they say never take that medicine into your house. Leave whatever you're doing, as far as your politics, leave it where it needs to be, and also sort of clear your channels, clear your mind, clear your spirit, because that affects your family and also yourself and the way you interact with your families and with your significant other, and even your parents. So I think even though we're doing the political stuff, which they wanted us to do, and sort of focus on it, don't forget to feed your spirit. Every day, just let that energy out and let it go, because it doesn't belong to you. And lastly is that all we are in reality is spirit and energy, and when we go back to the earth, we're returning that spirit and energy. And they say we come from the womb and we return to the womb again. And also a very important message for a lot of the young men and even my elders here, that we all came from the womb. And in the language, the English language, I run into these words of woman, like the woman belongs to a man, and there's no truth to that, because man didn't give birth to us, women did. So I'll leave you with that. On my relations.
Thank you. All right, so we're going to turn it over to Artistic, who's a powerful artist who we were blessed to have as a new family member.
I feel blessed being here. Thank you, family. Thank you for the invite. Just in brief, again, Artistic with the Kiss My Black Arts Collective. There's a lot to take in just hearing the dialogue this evening, but I hope that, and I know that with my craft, that we can illustrate these stories to get out to even a broader part of our community, because we have to connect with them on both the kinesthetic, auditory levels, and just make sure that we're all, because I know I don't watch a lot of media or TV, so I actually do pay attention to the art or the hieroglyphics that's in my neighborhood or my hood, so I think that's important. With that being said, it's been an honor to be invited to come and bring a muraling workshop to the decolonized youth here at the Decolonized Academy. And I hope with that workshop that is more than just painting big pretty pictures on walls, and that we illustrate our culture, and that we preserve our culture, and that we keep it alive through these lines, shapes, and colors, and that the biggest part of that is teaching the youth collaboration and working with one another, and how important that is to build upon that, as well as from these things. A lot of people in my hood growing up was directed to I'll say the obvious, selling drugs. Then the second obvious was playing sports. Then there was rap music. Well, art is alive and living, and that is a way to provide income for yourself and your family. And I hope that I can channel that down to the youth, like it's been channeled down to me from my elders that has taught me the muraling game and how that process works, and how we are historians when we paint these murals on our wall, and we're illustrating not only our past culture, but our immediate and our future culture. So thanks again, family.
All right. Any questions for Artistic? Any thoughts, any ideas for him you would like to say? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Just return back to our creation stories. Artists. They say when spirit comes to you, you know what? embrace it because it's a gift.
Yeah.
And also that gift can be passed on down to the youth, because a lot of the youth don't realize that they have gift too. You have to be reminded that, you know what, you have talent, you have gifts. And they say each and every one has a unique don, in Spanish is don, but it means that you have, each one is very unique in what you you bring to the table, to this earth, to this, of creation, so we're creating with creation, but also creation, it creates itself, because I found out, sort of the hard way, that painting a mural so close that you think, you got it all down on paper, but then you step back and you look at it and you go, oh, this appears here, this appears here, this appears here, and you go, where'd that come from? It's just spirit and energy just creating the mural, not not us. We can be like what they say, the messenger, but the piece is going to create itself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And I just want to welcome you as well to come. Thursday the class is taught. We're going to be starting
from 1 o'clock, and we're having an hour and a half class, so 1 to 2:30.
Okay.
Is it 1 to 2:30 or 11 to 12:30?
Oh no, I'm sorry.
It's 11 to 12:30. 11 to 12:30 every Thursday for other mural artists out in YouTube Landia and Facebook Landia. This is also a project of the community, right? So we'll all be part of that.
Definitely.
Right. Okay. Any other comments for Artistic? Otherwise, we'll move on. I just want to give a big round of applause to Artistic for his work and his energy, and as well to Antonio for his medicine. Go for it, please.
And I just want everybody to know, if they want to figure out exactly what Kiss My Black Arts has been doing, our collective has been doing, they can go and Google. We can Google now. Kiss My Black Arts. One word. Kiss My Black Arts.
I like that name.
Kiss My Black Arts. It's all about enduring the art and everything that when you mix everything, like in this room, if you just, can you pan across this whole entire room?
Right.
You mix all of us together.
Oh yeah.
All of our colors and everything that we like.
Right.
Everything that we are, all beautiful people you are. And guess what? At the end of the day, we get a murky water that's kind of like a blackish color, and it's beautiful. So we are what we are, because I'm a copper woman, and I just love being part of the black art. I'm just grateful that my brother is about to be a part of this whole collective. I've been with this school for like the second semester of its fruition, so I'm just very grateful. Thank you, Artistic, for coming into this. Thank you, Lexi, for jumping. Yeah, because this is all from our heart. So we're just grateful to be with all you wonderful people and bring our collective, because this is like the New World era.
Woo! That's what's up.
NWO. New World Order. This is the New World Order.
That's right. That's right. I just want to pass this on now to Brother Bilal. And before I do again, we're watching and listening to KEXU, The Crossroads. We open up pathways to liberation on this liberated Ohlone Lashan land, as poor people call homefulness. Also, to be very clear so people understand, we are officially taking this land off of the real estate snaking industry and giving it back to Mother Earth, because of course it was always hers. And if we stopped buying and selling Mother Earth, maybe we wouldn't have people's on the street being gentrificated and displaced. Okay, so all of these issues start with, as Antonio beautifully said, Mother Earth and the medicine that we all have. Right, so let's turn it over to Bilal. Mafundi Arish! Thank you!
Power to the people. Yeah, I just want to acknowledge two political prisoners. The United States holds over 100 political prisoners. The United States denies that it has political prisoners, but we have over 100 political prisoners. A lot of these folks were involved in the Black Liberation Movement and other movements in this country, and they are lingering in prison. Many are elders now. Their medical needs are being neglected in prison. They're given long-term return back to the parole boards, giving 15-year hits, such as Leonard Peltier. Others, Herman Bell, who was not given 10-year hits to return. And these are a lot of the elders. and they may not be around. And again, they have some serious medical ailments, have been neglected. We just went through a thing fighting for Mumia Abdul Jamar to save his life, to get hepatitis C treatments. And again, I mentioned earlier about the marginalization of segments of our community. Our political prisoners, political war, such as Leonard Peltier, Oso Blanco, Matulu Shakur, Herman Bell, Jalil Mutakin, these folks have been marginalized in our movement, and that's a damn shame, because these people were the ones that got out there and envisioned a better world for everyone, and was willing not to just think about a better world, but to get out there and to put work in to bring that better world into effect. The MOVE organization, the Family Africa, were an environmental group. They took care of the environment. They took care of animals. That bill was even wrong to talk bad to an animal. They promoted healthy food, and basically steering away what this society had to offer people as far as pollution and tainted food and so forth. And these other individuals who were have been in jail. Right now in California, we have Rochelle St. Q. McGee, the only survivor of the Marin County Rebellion with Jonathan Jackson. And we have Romaine Chip Fitzgerald, comrade of mine from Los Angeles. They are both doing a combined 99 years. They are the two longest held political prisoners in the United States. A combined 99 years sitting in the California Department of Concentration Camps and Torture. And they have been marginalized. And right now, as the struggle intensifies, as our struggle becomes more acute, many of us are going to run the risk of being possible political prisoners or prisoners of war. Yes. People tend to forget that. They tend to not to disparage the Black Lives Matter movement, but Black Lives Matter gives a cursory acknowledgement to political prisoners, but there's nothing in their platform about freeing our political prisoners. And as has been said before, any movement that does not take into account of our political prisoners, prisoner of war, is a sham movement. And I'm saying that right now. Yes. So, they've been marginalized. So we're going to be stepping that up. We're going to be doing more education about our political prisoners and prisoners of war. We're going to be building more support for that, because we intend on freeing those people. These people are there because they're sacrificed. We're out here on these streets now and continue in the struggle because of these folks. And we will not allow them to be forgotten. So we say, what's the call?
Free them all.
What's the call?
Free them all.
What's the call?
Free them all.
And I would just like to spin on this. If living in America's got you pissed, tune in to KEXU 96.1. If you're tired of seeing people with handcuffs on their wrists, turn into KEXU 96.1.
Yeah, buddy.
If you're tired of seeing your people get dissed, turn into KEXU 96.1. And if you're damn tired of living in this American twist, your station is KEXU 96.1. Revolutionary for People's Radio, radio for revolutionaries, and TV.
Ooh, yes. Whoa.
Now you use the bathroom.
All right.
Yeah, go for it, babe.
So I want to just say something, because I'm so grateful that the brother just even said something, because I just shared something today with Sister Tiny from family member Rochelle McGee, who is asking for help. He is given rights for all his records. He wants the children here to go over all his stuff. I just showed Tiny all the records. He gave me rights to everything. So I'm going to talk to you, Brother Bilal.
We'll talk.
Because no, he's family. So he's asking. So, but he doesn't know you know me.
Okay.
So I'm saying that, you know, we need to. So as a conglomerate, as a group, our children, because like how mine knows, all of our children need to know, because I'm gonna say this. Rochelle Cinque McGee was a human. What happened to him was what could have happened to my child.
That's right.
What almost happened to my child. My daughter was almost abducted by Oakland Police Department, the way he was at a very young age, at almost the same age. He is the longest standing person abducted. And we have to acknowledge that. Brain scramble, all of that. A science experiment. A science experiment. We have brothers here today standing that could tell you. This brother's just asking, please review his stuff.
That's what's up.
So
All right.
if you don't know anything, go research his story. He's not asking me to give up anything, but he's asking all of the youth to just go research his case.
Okay.
And real quick, I forgot. Leslie Van Houten was just released from prison a few weeks ago. For some of you too young to know who Leslie Van Houten was, she was one of the members of the Charles Manson family.
Wow.
Okay? And she's been released, and our political prisoner of war are still sitting there lingering in these gulags right here. So just think about that. A member of the Manson family who was not a political prisoner, but took other people, innocent people's lives because of drug-induced and following this phony.
We are being discriminated against and everything, and we have people that are living and dying, and we still need it.
Bilal said.
Okay.
More like,
Wait. Go ahead if you want. If it fits in with here, go ahead.
not to mention, issue now, and for 8 straight issues, we have touched on different topics. And we have entirely to racism and white supremacy.
Ah.
Yes.
I got
which is on the increase in this country right now.
No,
They
but
love
the
the
children,
idea.
let me tell you.
They're about
yeah,
it.
the children
They're
are
about it.
doing it. The
They
children are doing
that was,
it
that
right
was from
now.
you, babe. That was
Yes,
from you.
yes. You,
All right,
you
Suki,
did
go for
that.
it, hon.
Educate about the political prisoners because they are my own I think that'd be really
this walls have their stories not told by somebody else, not filtered, but actually published. And so if you could hold this up just so if you're watching Jose, Jose came to Newzroom last month. We were inside in the fake secured housing. Family. So and we don't, if we have public pretenders or no public pretenders at all. And let's be real, that's why I did 3 months hard time. And he specifically asked us to do that. If there's anybody in the room who wants to do a review, I was planning to do it. But if anybody else wants to do it, we can work on it together. Yeah. It's a commitment. I want to make sure though to go through the process. If Tracy's holding it up,
I'm like holding it up. I'm like I want to try to figure this out.
Poor by Bilal in last month's Poor magazine. So let me turn it over to Leroy because I know he has the last story of the night. Definitely not least, but not last.
Everybody knows that I started what's called Crip Hot Nation. And Crip Hot Nation is in music, you know. So, Crip Hot has been really deep in the Congo in the last 6 months. We wrote in Chicago, handicap. Media, now is that they're coming to the Bay Area.
What?
Yes, they're coming to the Bay Area in November. On the Congo. Everybody has a phone?
Yes.
Which is on
Just
Facebook.
the-
I just want to show. We sold in North Yemen, and we also released the
So, and that's it. You know, the part of the sky is hard to travel. You know, just think being in the Congo.
Yeah.
Too fast.
Yeah.
You know, it's so hard to travel.
I mean, we forget to take care of our bodies, you know, and that we only have one, and we're like to do a walk to Europe. So given the mirror represents a lot of time. You know, what were you painting for? You know, was it was of those different countries? So, kind of fast forward up to the 70s, 80s, and 90s. A lot of the murals were in you know, like sort of resonates in my heart that people see. So
an assignment for showing up at the Kayla Moore Nation and Prensa POBRE and all of that work. We've got the amazing artistic this is powerful medicine that we made tonight. To all folks watching again, this is KEXU, Poor News Network. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. That's we still live in the American economy, even though we're actively trying to move.
23rd is my birthday. So
oh, you're not on day over 13.
I just want to say, just keep prayers going up for all of them. And just to know that as a healer, that I need all this great spirit.
To be here at 8:30 in the morning.
There you
To
go.
greet the children with the egg sandwich.
Another ancestor. Revolutionary Radio and TV. The next newsroom, first Tuesday of the month in Noviembre.